Hello everyone, this is Jeffy. Today we're going to be seeing the eighth experiment of our Linux and Unix lab. This basically deals with processes and various system calls and how it affects the files. So getting onto our program, we see that the first program, inside the main function, the parent program first runs and it prompts the user to enter the number of seconds. Now the program for this would be the question for this program is basically that from the parent program I'm supposed to from the parent process I'm supposed to ask the number of seconds, and in the child process I'm going to display the time in terms of hours, minutes and seconds. So after this we use the fork system call to create a new process, and if PID is equal to 0, then it means that it is a child process, and we have the child process. We display its ID, then we display the process B and also its ID. Then we calculate the hours, the minutes and the seconds using the formula given here. Like for example, for hours it's time by 3600, for minutes it's time by 60, then for seconds it's time modulus 60. So the time is, and then it is displayed in this format, which is hours, minutes and seconds. And then in the parent process, we display the process ID of both the process A and the process B. Now, let me run this program. It's a number of seconds. I'm just going to go with 456. And here we go. We have the parent process, all the process ID, and then we also have the next process and the child process, and then its timing. So going to the next program. Okay, here we have the program. Okay, so in this program also, as you can see, first it tells us the parent process is running in the beginning, and then the process ID is printed, then the string is prompted to enter. So the string is entered. Now all of this is taking place in the parent process, then the length of the string is calculated, and then the fork system call is used for for the first child to be created, the first child process to be created. Then the child process ID and the parent process ID is printed. Then for I equals 1, I less than or equal to 0, then we are basically reversing the string. So the reverse of the string is, and we are displaying this. Now this is in the child process A, sorry, child process B. And then we create a next process, which is PID 1 equal 4, and then we display the same process IDs of the parent and the child, and then we are going to check if the string is a palindrome or not. So this is what happens. And the logic used for palindrome is simply like, I'm going to reverse the string first, and then I'm going to compare string 1 with string. If both of them are equal, then it's going to print 0 and it is a palindrome. If not, it is not a palindrome. Now we're going to check the output. So I'm just going to give ma'am as my input, and as you can see the length of is 3, then the reverse is ma'am, string is, yes, it is a palindrome because MAM and MAM will match. Now going to the third program. Okay, now this is our final program. As you can see in the beginning, the parent process is running, and then the initial parent process A with ID is printed here, and then after this process, the fork process is there. So with the use of the fork system call, a new process is created. Now, if PID equals 0, then it is the child process B which is being created. Then the parent process ID, child process ID, both are printed. Then for the number that you have entered above, the factorial of the number is calculated using f equals f into I. Then another fork function is called, through which a second child is created, and this is process D. Now through this, the Fibonacci series are printed. Now we will be using the simple logic, that is D equals B plus C, and then swapping the values between B, C, D, and then decrementing the values to get the Fibonacci series. Then we are putting the process to sleep. So after this, process C is created, in which the parent process and the child process are printed, and then the process IDs are printed, and then finally, if it is calculated if the number is an Armstrong number or not. So here we use the logic as in, while on is not equal to 0, then r is equal to on modulus 10. Then we are going to find the cube of the number and then divided by 10, and then with that we finish process C. Now for process E, we are checking if the number is a prime number or not. So we use the logic for that, in which if the number is equal to 0, then count it as it is not a prime number. It is an even number, otherwise it is a prime number. Then in the next process F, the parent process ID, child process ID is printed, and then also the reverse of the number is found by using MO equals E. First we modulus by 10, and then we multiply by 10, adding the remainder, and we get the output. So let's check the output. So I'm going to enter an integer. Let me give 343. Um, yeah, this is the Fibonacci series for the entire digit. And then we have the process C which is created. It is not an Armstrong number, it is not a prime number. Now the next process F has been created. Now the reverse is 343. Now with this we complete our experiment of Unix and Linux lab. Thank you.